What's up, everybody? So we got a good thing to do today. Damn, I need a haircut. We're helping a family member sell their vehicle. It's a car that hasn't been detailed in a long time. It's pretty great condition. I'll call it pretty good condition, but I'll show you what the process looks like to what I do to detail and clean up a car before putting it for sale. I'll show you how I take photos, what photos I know need to be taken so we can get the best money for it, and then how to post. It's the full process. As if I had bought this to flip, this is what I do. Now here's the fun part. Look what it is. Like I mentioned, this is going to be to help a family member that needs to sell it. It's a 2004 Toyota Tacoma. This truck is actually a single owner vehicle. Taken really well care of by the previous owner. One thing for sure is he loved this truck. He was always happy to drive it, happy to go off fishing and all that fun stuff. But it's lived in El Paso its entire life. I say entire, but the first 3 or 4 years it was in another part of Texas, but I mean, hell, close enough. You can see, I mean, pretty clean all across. Little tiny minor things like a little door dent maybe, one, which is nuts. He had good tires on it, kept up with the maintenance. It does have some paint fade, which will be our biggest hurdle, if I'm being honest. But what's nice is that you can get the hood and the fenders repainted for $500. So we're gonna sell through the faded paint. I don't think it's gonna be a thing that holds this car back. If those of you that are Toyota guys, I'm going to ask you to help me because this is a 4-cylinder, 2-wheel drive automatic with 144,000 miles. So it's got great mileage on it. The thing that is interesting is that it has 6-bolt lugs. I'm not a big Toyota guy, but I do know that they're supposed to have 5-bolt lugs unless it's a 4x4, which this is not, or if it's a pre-runner. And I'm starting to think it is a pre-runner because look at the lift. I know the previous owner never lifted it. He bought it as is. So it has lifts, which is a sign of the pre-runner. And then it has a 5-bolt lug, which is a sign of the pre-runner. So I'm thinking that might be what this is. But let me show you the interior. Here's one of the coolest things. I'm super lucky that I live in El Paso because check out this. This truck is 21 years old. Not a spot of rust on it. How insane. Those of you that live anywhere else, you know. All of you El Paso cats are gonna be like, well, that's how all the trucks look. Yeah, trust me, we're spoiled. Look at all the components. All the bolts are ready to go. If you have to switch stuff, repair, look at that. Not a piece of rust on it. Which I mentioned, if you're in El Paso, you're not gonna understand why that's amazing, but go look at a truck from Chicago. Go find a 3-year-old truck from Chicago and look underneath it. Just 3 years, it's gonna look like hell. This is the interior. I'm going to do some detailing because you see we got some wear and tear, just some discoloration. That's always going to happen with use. Here goes the key. Here goes the odometer. 145,000 miles. That's what we're going to call it. So great mileage. This thing has its whole life ahead of it, which is nuts because it's 21 years old, but the only thing that's minor is a little bit of a cigarette smell and a little bit of cigarette like spots, you know what I mean? But once again, nobody's buying it for the interior. They're buying it for that motor and for that reliability. Let's pop the hood. Let me show you what we got. Oh, ice cold AC, which is a huge plus because you know how it is selling a car without AC. It's tough. So we're pretty clean under the hood. We got some grime we're gonna clean up. We got some of this power steering fluid we're gonna check. We're gonna refill the power steering fluid, make sure it's all the way up. Very likely we're gonna do an oil change. I'll check to see if it needs it. Whenever you see a buildup of dirt, it's because you have a leak. And you always go higher to see where the leak is. In this case, the leak is from the cap. So by replacing the cap, it'll be a leak-free truck, which is nuts. You see down here, there's no leaks anywhere. Look at that, even way down there, not a drop. And that's the Toyota reliability that everybody loves. Toyota just made these things bulletproof, man. They last forever, super strong. I say super strong in reliability. This truck probably makes 150 horsepower, which, you know, it'll get you there, but but like I mentioned, the paint is not half bad. We do have to just worry about the faded paint on the hood and the roof. The roof is a little too far to save. You see we got spots. it sat outside. So that's the give and take of El Paso. Look at that. This bed is beautiful. It's not all dented. Sometimes you see crushed wheel wells and stuff. This thing looks great. No exhaust leaks. It's a beautiful truck. Here's a process that I go through to clean something up, getting it ready for sale. Like I mentioned, I'll photograph all the pictures, show you how I take them, what I'm taking photos of specifically. I'll post it, make a listing, and then I'll show you what that looks like. And then very likely I'm gonna be able to film when we find buyers to see what they're looking at, negotiate, wheel and deal, and then make it happen. So A through Z on how to flip a car. Granted, I didn't purchase this, but normally purchase low, clean, sell. So you'll see all that, the rest of it. Okay, so now you break out the pressure washer. Do you need a pressure washer? No, of course not. Does it make it easier? Yeah, that's why I bought it. So, we're gonna prime the pressure washer, spray it, hit it with the soap, wash it all down, and then that'll be half of the wash. Okay, so in this case, this is the one time you actually want to use dish soap to wash a vehicle. In most cases, you don't. The reason is dish soap will remove any wax, any sealant, all protectors, that kind of stuff. It won't remove like the hardcore like ceramic, but what my point is, I want everything off of this truck but the paint. So this will take everything off but the paint, and then from there we can build with a little bit of polish and build it up and wax it at the end. So in goes the dish soap. So I'm losing light, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to the whole truck. I'm just going to show you on this little portion of it so you can see. So I'm going to start with Meguiar's Ultra Pro Speed Compound. It's a number 110. This is the stuff I like. Everyone uses something else. I do have an orbital polisher, but I'm going to go by hand just to show everybody you don't need tools. It's nice. Does it make it faster? Yes. Easier? Yes. But you can totally do it by hand. So I'm going to start with this guy. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to hit it with this. And that's going to be like the finishing polish of it. I am not going to do any areas with very thin clear coat because it's going to be ineffective. All you're going to do is eat the clear coat. The sides of the vehicle are great though. You can tell there's a lot left. It looks pretty good overall. So I'm going to do the sides, the back. I can't do much about the hood, can't do much about the roof. It is what it is. I am going to go and wax the hood and the roof. I know it sounds crazy, right? But it's just to give it a little layer of wax to protect it, whatever's left. And it gives it a little bit more of a finish that looks nicer than what we have here. So you're gonna see I'm gonna start here, work my way with all of the Ultra Pro Speed Compound, and then when I'm done, I'm gonna hit it with the finishing polish. Just to show you, as of right now, you can't see any reflection out of it. You can see a little bit over here, but you know, let me turn this back off. If you look directly in at it, you can't see my face or anything. You can't see my hand. So that's where we're gonna work to finish. You can see my little legs. Now the purpose of all this is to show you that, look, am I a detailer? Heck no. If you got 100 detailers and put them in a room, I'd be the bottom 2. Everybody's probably better than me at polishing and all this other stuff. This is to show you that I'm just an average guy with average parts and average equipment. That's why I'm using rags instead of an orbital, to show you that anybody can do this. And it's so worth it doing it on a vehicle you're gonna flip. Now, if you're gonna flip a $2,000 car that's gonna sell for 3 or 4, would you go through all this? No, probably not. You're just gonna wash it. But it's so vital to clean a car. It makes such a better first impression on your customer that it's worth all the time. You're gonna see all the money I've spent on this so far has been $2 of non-dish soap. That's it. Cloths, but yeah, you buy these and wash them again and again, so that doesn't count, you know? These things are worth 30 bucks a piece, so that's 60 bucks, but I mean, I'm gonna use them I get so much use out of them, it's nuts. So like I mentioned, this is just to show what you should be doing when flipping cars and what you can be doing. I've bought cars and all I've done is clean them and make them look pretty and put them back up for sale. Because you've seen them. Some guy posts a car for sale. He takes one photograph of the car and it's nighttime. You can't even tell what it is, but you see the mileage and you know it's low mileage, so you go buy it, you know? I've bought in cars, dirt cheap, quick, stole them in the middle of the night, washed them, cleaned them, detailed them, took professional photos, put them back up a week later, sold them and doubled up. From 2 grand to 4 grand, 4 grand to 6 grand, you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff happens. This particular truck is an 04 pre-runner with 145,000 miles. It deserves to have its best foot forward. That's why we're gonna take time and really show it some love that it deserves before, you know, sending it off on its way. Anyways, here we go. Polish and then buff. Ultra Speed Pro Compound. So you just get yourself a nice new clean rag, fold it up a few times. Any side is fine. Make sure you shake this up real nice. And then go to town. Always try to avoid going near badges because it ends up working its way in there. Same thing with wax. You want to avoid anything that's not paint because it works its way in there and it's a real pain in the butt to get out. So you're going to see me go pretty wide on this, but that's intentional. Later on I can come back and do the little small fine details. The other thing is you want to make sure the paint is entirely dry. There's a little drop right there. So you want to make sure the car is as dry as possible. And you're just going to work this in side by side. So in theory, this polish is actually extremely fine sandpaper. And you might actually be able to hear it. It sounds sandy. So it's just removing all the grime, all the beat up, clear coat up on top. And we're just looking to get a thin layer. Nothing crazy. You then fold over and rub on top. Get all that stuff off. It's nuts as you can already see a difference, which is pretty cool. Now normally I would run this through the whole door, but for the purposes of right now, I'm gonna switch to the other compound. Just to kind of show you an end result, because once again, we're running out of light. Once again, a professional detailer would be like, oh my God, that's not a brand new towel. It's not, I've washed it. It just has a little bit of color. I'm still trying to stay with this side over here, of course. But yeah, if you're polishing a 60, 70, $100,000 car, these would be unacceptable. But I mean, it'll be fine. But you know, to each your own. If you want to use brand new cloths every single time, do it, man. That's great. That's even better. Once again, that's why when I said, if you get a room of 100 detailers, I'm at the bottom 2. Some guy's out there sanding with old socks. Some above him by just a hair. You do want to apply some moderate pressure to it. Not a ton, but just enough to make sure it's getting in there. Give it some elbow grease. There's the difference. There's the difference here. You can see your own screen now. So with a really, really good buff and polish, you'll start to get a mirror finish. But that's the before. That's the after. It's not an extreme difference, but that was a very quick pass. Next, like I mentioned, last thing I'll do is the tire shine and then the wheels, but right now I'm going to work on the headlights. When it comes to fixing up a car that you're going to sell, one of the best things, there's the light. One of the best things you need to focus on in most cases is literally just shine the tires, shine the wheels, and shine the headlights, or put new headlights. That alone will wake up 95% of the cars around here. If you see older vehicles, what gives you the impression of age is always the headlights. So let's see how much we can shine these guys up, because that's one of the easiest ways and quickest ways to make an old tired vehicle look a lot newer. This one's not even tired, but obviously the El Paso sun got to it, so we'll see what we can do. Here we go. This is what I used to get the black colors back to black. VRP, vinyl rubber plastic protectant. Pretty useful. It's a good product. I don't buy a huge amount of stuff from chemical guys, but that one's one of the ones that's worth buying. Now with plastics, I haven't gotten any sealant on them in a long time. You'll have to do multiple passes. Because you'll see, I just drank all that up. There's still a lot of gray everywhere. So watch, even with some that's still on the rag, so I'm gonna end up putting a ton of it over 2 or 3 coats just to make it where it needs to be. But this is coat number 1, so we'll get all of it first. So that compared to that, not bad. Let's give this guy coat number 1, and then I'll just cut to the end for you. Now, it hasn't had any in a long time, so it's pretty thirsty, as they call it. You can see how it doesn't look clear, it doesn't look uniform. So once it dries, like in a few hours, I can come back and try again in the other spots to see if I can get it to absorb more material. I put the same stuff on the steps, whatever. Now for the fun part, engine cleaning. I'm not a Toyota specialist, so bear with me. But instead of a 2.5, I think it's a 2.7? Yeah, 2.7, because it's the pre-runner. The standard one's a 2.5. So we're gonna get some cleaning going on all this, just make it look nice and shiny. It all runs and operates just fine. I'm gonna check the fluid level, see if it needs an oil change. If it does, I'll change it. But this is gonna be the before photo, and I'll show you at the end. Well, I'll take you through the journey. You guys can come with me. Now, believe it or not, doing all this extra work and cleaning and detailing it, it's always a good idea. But in the sake, or in the case of this Tacoma, I might be getting an extra like 5% of what it's worth by doing all this detailing. For some reason, I mean, I know why. Toyota Tacoma owners are like bananas, and they would have been super happy buying this truck as is anyways and paying a lot of money for it. But I know always shining things up, making it present its best foot forward is a big plus. But there's other cars where if you're detailing them, cleaning them up, you're gonna see a big return. In the sense of this, I probably could have just slapped it online and still got a pretty close to what it would have been worth, you know? Anyways, that being said, for this step of doing the engine detailing, quote unquote detailing, it's more like a cleaning, I use the same stuff. Nonsense, brush, rag. Clean everything up, touch everything that you can, get to where you can. The whole idea in El Paso is to de-dust, because there's just so much dust everywhere. It appears like there's a small leak on the power steering reservoir, so I'll clean this off, open it, check it, add if needed. That's what causes this, is that the caps begin to leak, and you get this buildup. Same thing on this end. Got a leaky cap, hence the buildup, but anyways, let us begin. Now, something I wanted to point out is you'll notice I use the same rag for the whole thing. What I didn't do is use this rag to clean the battery and then put that everywhere else. I left the battery as is for now. The other thing is that while using any chemical, you need to make sure that it's not removing things you need to keep, such as this. This is the fuse terminal. Sometimes I've had it in the past where I use that, and when I rub this, it starts taking these off. So if that's the case, you stop, dry it easy and nice, and stay away from it. So always look out for that. Next tip, older vehicles have a lot of vacuum lines, such as this one. Look how thin of a line that is. It's all floppy. It's extremely easy if you're not careful to remove this line and pull it off of here, because it's not even attached. It's attached by just friction. And then when you do that, you don't know what you've done. It's an accident, of course, and then something stops working on the truck, or you have a high idle, or you have something weird happening. So whenever working on vehicles, always be cautious for vacuum lines and make sure they all stay where they need to stay, because if not, it'll just be a headache. I mean, the truck will still run, but something weird's gonna happen. It could be a high idle. Well, it will be a high idle because you have a vacuum leak, and then something can stop functioning. So cool. I'm gonna put some of that Back to Black on top of this, and then I got some battery cleaning sprays I'm gonna spray this down with, then we're done. All right, so the biggest thing about this truck is that the previous owner was a smoker. And because of that, the truck does smell like smoke pretty good. It's difficult to get rid of a smoke smell in a vehicle. There's always some lingering everywhere. So what I did is, of course, vacuum everything up, get all the ash you can find, clean out the ports, clean everything. It was recommended to me to put a whole can of Lysol down the vents. Put the can of Lysol down the vents, let the truck sit for 30 minutes, then run the AC for 30 minutes, and then of course change the cabin air filter. But we're gonna do this anyways, because you see how there's just, you know, discoloration. We're gonna exfoliate the seats, get all this stuff out that we can, make them back as they were, and hopefully that also helps take out the smell. See, it's yellow. But yeah, let's see what we can do. Okay, so for interior cleaning, the product I use is called, Nonsense Invisible. It is another Chemical Guys product, so I guess this and the Back to Black is the stuff I use from them. This is cool because you can buy it in bulk and it's very dilutable. So it says on the side, you can do like 20-to-1 dilution between this and water. So I usually do about 10-to-1, but I put it in one of these containers. Compress, 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 compress. And then just really get the seat wet. You gotta really work this stuff in there. Now normally I wouldn't recommend getting the seats so soaked because the foam is hard to dry. We're gonna go through a drying process to make sure we don't have any problems. Once we get this nice and soaked, we let some of it sit so it can activate. And do that center armrest. So now that it's nice and wet, I get my drill with my brush, wet the brush, and then you just get started. It makes a mess. It's inevitable. So start high and low, but you'll see the difference right now. It's worth the time, that's for sure. This may sound obvious, but you want to go up and down, back and forth, really work it in. The more material you put, the wetter the seat is, the more foam you get. And what's interesting is as you work, you'll see the foam change color. It's no longer white, it's yellow and brown, but that's just natural. It's normal from our skins. We always sweat, things going on. So once I have it wet, I vacuum it up. The other thing about doing this is that you got to be gentle enough with the material because it will rip, especially this one's what, 21 years old. If there's any like actual cuts in the material, something like this little cigarette burn, you want to try to avoid, or at least when you're going over it, go extremely light, because yeah, last thing you want is for this to grab on and rip it. So just something to consider. Go easy on it. The material's old. If there's any like, you've seen a lot of seats where they rip through here. If that's the case, I'll just avoid the area entirely because you just don't want to pick on it. Cool. Obvious, I know, but all of this is obvious, but it's nice to be shown one time before doing it yourself, that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's worth my time. So I didn't notice this before, but once I clean the seat, we have this stain. So I'm gonna try to get it out. Now, one thing to keep in mind, which is kind of interesting, whenever you have a stain, such as anything like pen, ink, any dyes, whatever the heck this is, you gotta be cautious, because I have in the past used the cleaner to get this out. I hit it with the rotating, whatever that thing is, the brush, and it'll migrate the stain to everything. So I'm gonna hit it right now and be cautious with it, because sometimes that little stain then becomes the size of the disc. Because it'll just so let's be cautious and see what we get. As you can see it, I saw a lot of it just come out when I sprayed it, so I'm gonna see if I can just collect it. Yeah, I almost can. Wow. I'm happy with that. We're not here searching for perfection. It's nice to get when we can, but you know, that looks really good, so I'm gonna keep that. All right, let's do the back half. Alrighty. The interior is as good as it's gonna get, at least in my possession. Maybe the next owner will do more. But it's looking good all around. We got this going, that's gonna dry, so it'll be one color. Got the floor mats in the back washed and cleaned as well. Front seats, headrest, all that good stuff. Side door. Everything else is good. Now for the fun part. My GoPro's about to die, but look at that. Pretty sweet, huh? I'll see you in a minute, which will be me taking photographs of the car. I'll show you what I picture, why I picture, putting together a Facebook ad, showing you what I put in there, why I put that, and then also just obviously finding a price for the vehicle, because it's a little harder. I haven't looked at the Tacoma market, but I'll show you how I find pricing and price the market so I know I'm getting a fair deal. Good deal. Great deal for the truck. A great deal for me. For the family that I'm helping sell it for. All right, thanks. I'll see you guys in a minute. Bye, guys.